All right, let's jump right into this explainer. Today, we're unpacking a really counterintuitive masterclass on self-mastery, pulling directly from the incredibly profound insights of author Robert Greene. And look, if you think you already know what self-control looks like, you might want to get ready to have that perspective completely flipped on its head. We're not talking about your standard, run-of-the-mill advice here, like waking up at 5 a.m. or forcing yourself to eat more vegetables. No, this is about making deep, structural changes to how you actually operate in the world.
Just listen to this quote. It's super provocative. Being bored will kill you. I'd rather die under the stress than be bored. I mean, society constantly tells us, right, that stress is the ultimate enemy. We're always told to relax, take a step back, just chill out, because stress is going to be the end of us. But Robert Greene, he argues the exact opposite. He says that aimlessness, literally having nothing compelling to do with your life, is way deadlier to your spirit than the pressure of hard work. Your brain actually needs that pressure to thrive.
So here's our roadmap for mastering self-control today. We're going to cover 1. The danger of boredom, 2. Rewiring your brain, 3. The true test of character, 4. Say less than necessary, and finally, 5. Channeling masculine energy.
Kicking things off with Pillar 1, the danger of boredom, and why your brain actually needs it.
When you pour immense energy and soul into your work, something wild happens inside your mind. You develop this internal mental radar that painfully alerts you the second you lose focus. And yeah, it's a genuine discomfort, but that pain is actually a brilliant tool. It forces you to course correct right back into deep, productive focus. You really have to contrast that immediate struggle with the long-term reality. Especially for young people, right? Intensely focusing while all your peers are out partying, it feels agonizing. But Greene points out a pretty stark reality. In just a few years, those same friends who seem to be having the time of their lives right now are probably going to be sliding down the ladder, working some job they absolutely hate. Meanwhile, your focused efforts will have propelled you upward. You've got to keep your mind fixed on that bigger picture.
Which leads us perfectly into Pillar 2, rewiring your brain and treating knowledge as the ultimate currency.
Greene tells us to look at knowledge and skills not just as, bullet points to add to a resume, but as a currency that's far more valuable than gold. And we can see this perfectly through his own 18-year journey. The guy didn't just sit down one day and write a masterpiece. He wandered around Europe teaching English and trying to write a novel. He moved into journalism where he had to learn how to write under super strict deadlines. Then he worked in Hollywood, picking up high-level research and dramatic storytelling. To anyone watching from the outside, he probably seemed totally aimless. But slowly, brick by brick, he was building real-level skill. So when it was finally time to write the 48 Laws of Power, the world just opened up for him because the foundation was already perfectly laid.
And look, this isn't just some motivational fluff. It's rooted in hard science. Greene actually cites UCLA neuroscientist Dr. Jeffrey Schwartz to explain neuroplasticity, which is how your non-material thoughts and the skills you develop physically change the material wiring of your brain. By applying deep focus and seriously learning a skill, you are literally changing your brain matter. You're connecting things that were never connected before, basically preparing the soil for something amazing to grow.
But okay, what happens when you just don't have the internal belief to keep pushing forward? Greene suggests acting almost like a professional actor. You know how an actor pulls up a really vivid, sad memory to cry on cue? Well, when you feel self-doubt creeping in, you need to call up a specific, emotional memory of a past success. Even if it was just winning a high school sports game or totally acing a hard exam. Tap into that exact feeling to artificially, but super effectively, build your confidence back up.
Moving outward a bit, we hit Pillar 3, the true test of character, looking way beyond just charm and intellect.
Because in the real world, Greene warns us, do not judge people based on surface-level charm or superficial intelligence. That stuff is incredibly easy to fake. Instead, you want to look for structural character. A weak character, they're defined by defensiveness. They build this impenetrable wall to reject any kind of criticism so they never, ever have to admit fault. Contrast that with a strong character. That's someone who takes responsibility when things go sideways, someone who works well with others and handles stress without completely cracking. That's the person you can actually lean on when the chips are down.
So how do you actually spot this out in the wild? Greene gives us a fantastic set of unconventional character checks. First, watch how they handle stress. People can fake being strong all day, but under high pressure, the mask falls right off. Second, watch how they handle power. Does a little newfound authority suddenly reveal this abusive, tyrannical nature? Third, look at their choice of partners. Do they intentionally choose someone they see as inferior just so they can push them around and feel superior? And finally, and this one's great, their behavior during games. Casual outdoor activities or even simple board games can brutally expose someone who is hyper-competitive and just needs to win at absolutely everything.
All right, stepping into Pillar 4, say less than necessary. This is all about the power of silence and controlling your own tongue.
Honestly, mastering your mouth is genuinely one of the ultimate forms of self-mastery in both the social and professional worlds. Never complain, never explain. Just let that sink in for a second. By constantly whining about life and over-explaining why you're doing what you're doing, you are not gaining anyone's sympathy. You're just making yourself look weak to the rest of the world. You have to stop explaining yourself and just let your actions speak entirely on their own.
Because when you can't control your mouth and you're just yammering on, it gives off this overwhelming vibe that you can't control anything else in your life either. It's a highly unpowerful aura, and it makes you really prone to blurting out something irrational. On the flip side, someone who speaks selectively, they instantly command a room. They have the discipline to sit back, let everyone else argue, and just wait.
And the payoff for that strategic patience? You get this incredible aura of mystery and control. By occasionally uttering something just a little bit ambiguous, you generate immense social power. People literally lean in. They wonder, wait, what exactly did they mean by that? By resisting that incredibly common urge to overshare and talk over people, you project strength and this deeply rooted sense of self-control that naturally commands respect.
Which brings us to our fifth and perhaps most profound section. Pillar 5, channeling masculine energy and really mastering your natural aggression. Now, we live in a modern culture that sometimes paints masculinity as inherently negative, but Green offers a really interesting, different framework here. While acknowledging that toxicity, demeaning behavior, and abuse are absolutely real problems, he firmly defines virtuous masculinity as self-control, decisiveness, and treating women with secure respect. Respecting others isn't a weakness, right? It's a profound sign of strength. It shows you're totally secure in who you are, and you don't need to put anyone else down just to lift yourself up. So how do you practically pull this balance off? It's 3 steps. Step 1, accept your natural ambition. Step 2, discipline your aggression. And step 3, pour it into constructive goals. Green explains that natural testosterone, competitiveness, assertiveness, these are actually fantastic energizers. They're the roaring engines that literally get things done in the world. But an engine without a steering wheel is a massive hazard. Those natural drives have to be heavily disciplined and purposefully channeled.
And he shares this super candid personal anecdote about pouring his own aggression straight into the 48 laws of power. He didn't suppress his frustrations with the world or try to hide his competitive edge, but instead of acting out, whining, or hurting people, he literally channeled all of that aggressive energy right into writing his famous book. He took his edge and poured it into a constructive, world-changing goal. He used self-control to master his passions.
Which brings us to a really provocative thought I want you to walk away with today. How are you currently channeling your own internal aggression and ambition? Are you just letting it sit there and build up into frustration, or are you actively using your self-control to pour it into something great? I challenge you to take that energy, build your skills brick by brick, and use it to forge your own legacy. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer. I really hope this structured look at self-mastery sparks some new ideas for you, and I'll catch you on the next one.